Okay, let's try that again. Um,
Oh man, I love
oh
it.
my goodness,
I love it.
that's
I love
never
it.
happened before. Never in the history of this show have we done that before, where
So,
we were
so,
for
so
those
what
for
I,
the full
full
to
disclosure,
say full
just full
disclosure.
disclosure. So we've actually started this show 5 minutes ago. I'm embellishing. Maybe about 3, 4 minutes ago, right? And so my boy here and I were just having a full on conversation about what we're gonna do for Comic Con, and like we're saying hello to everybody again, like we usually do on this podcast, which is again PS Comics I Love You podcast here in the
Yeah,
Coachella
yeah.
Valley. I'm one of your hosts again, Jared Kabakuman. Of course, the man to my right here, of course, is the one, the only Kevin Pillow, aka Voice of Reason. I'm, of course, Jared Comics 42. Also, not Jared Comics 42. But, anyways, what we meant to say is that my boy here, he forgot to hit the live button, and we just been riffing for about 4 or 5 minutes, man. And he's like,
Yeah,
"Hey, hold that thought. I didn't hit live." I'm like, "Oh,
I did not hit live. That was my bad. We
okay,
were sitting here
okay.
trying to um,
Troubleshoot,
get troubleshoot some
troubleshoot."
stuff,
Mhm.
and so I think it's probably in the long run a good thing because I am coming to you from my garage, and
Mhm.
I was going to use a secondary camera, but I don't think it's going to happen. Having some technical issues here in the mobile studio, so
Mhm.
be on the lookout on our Instagram page,
Mhm.
both mine at Voice of Reason 23 and at PS Comics I Love You,
Yep,
as we will be probably
posted
doing
on.
some streaming from this location.
Yeah.
I'm going to very carefully lift my laptop here and show you what I'm working with right now. Um,
As
Here
he's
is
doing
the
that,
layout of
yeah.
my comic books. This is probably a good. This is a mixture of about 3 years worth of books. This right here is probably more than half of, as I'll call it, half of my pandemic collection.
Mm, cool.
And what this is, there's some other stuff intermittent in there that are what it is because I had run out of during COVID. They actually BCW ran out of supplies,
Oh
and I
yeah,
was not able to
good.
get my hands on traditional long boxes. Most of my collection is actually right up there in those long boxes
Yep.
and short boxes right
It was
there.
yeah, it was insane, man. Think about it. Like the back in like the back in the dark ages of comic book collecting
Well, shoot,
where
when we started this
everything
podcast,
was
which was decimated.
yeah, everything was estimated. And so yeah, cool. And for those of you who see me just are looking at our video format of the podcast, the reason why I'm dancing is I got music playing in the background. I'm kind of hopped up a little bit on some pain medication because my foot is still hurting, and so I'm feeling pretty good right now. Listen to some Yola in the back. So yeah, we're just gonna be chilling, just talking about like what is going to be, what to look forward to WonderCon 2023. It is now almost a week. Actually, it's less than a week now for most people
Less than a week.
that are
So
gonna go to WonderCon in 2023 here in Anaheim, California. Like my buddy here, who's currently going through his comics right now. He's going to. I know you, Kevin, are going Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Am I correct?
yeah, so my wife and I and the kids are going Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
No.
So is a friend of the show, Atner Manriquez and Sarah Devora are going to be there. I know you're
Cool.
going is
I'm going Saturday.
you're going Saturday and Sunday or just Saturday?
Saturday, Sunday. Saturday, Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday.
I'm going with my sister. She's
I was to
currently
say
gonna be
is
working that day. Yeah, she's going.
so is
She's gonna go that
the
Sunday.
Hangry Collector,
Yeah,
aka the Night
Saturday.
Nurse, aka the other Kambakungan.
She who devours all
Um,
the comics.
yeah, full disclosure. I've Here's what's funny is Jr. and I knew
Yep.
each other, but
Yep.
didn't know each other. We met at the we probably crossed each other's paths
Yeah.
throughout the first year of
Mm,
Asylum, but really didn't meet until the 1 year anniversary of the asylum, which was in May of
18?
2017, 16,
I think
16.
I thought they opened in
They opened in
2017.
no. They opened in 20. It was either 2015 or 2016. You know what? I think
No,
it was
that's too late, bro. That's too because I
no.
remember going
It
back
was they
into
opened. They
comic
opened in
books.
2016.
No,
They opened in
that's
2016. The reason I know that is because I was still working in radio when they opened. And I got fired in
Okay.
2016. So the anniversary
Mhm.
was in 2017 is when JR and I became friends basically.
Yeah,
We were acquaintances, knew each other. We were never ill towards each other,
yeah,
just didn't know each other. And it wasn't until the fateful 20 or the 1 year anniversary of Comic
yeah.
Asylum that we got to know each other. But leading up to that year, and I got to know more of the legend of the other Kambakungan
Mhm.
between the 1 year anniversary and the second-year anniversary,
Oh
because
yeah.
in that year is where Candace became, as you know, they refer to what's his name in the WWE. He does the lantern, and um,
Undertaker?
he's kind of like the
No.
no, he's like the new Undertaker.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah, okay. I
I
don't know.
can't think of his name now. I just had it. Anyways, they call him the Devourer, the Eater of Worlds.
Uh-huh.
And so I call Candace the Eater of Comics because yeah, she just grabbed everything
Oh yeah,
that second year.
we've calmed down a little bit since then. You know, get other people let them get their things, but more so like if anything, she still has a hell of a lot of comics, and so there's
Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of pops too, and so yeah, it's just more so we did a we yeah, we could trace back our roots now to basically 2016, 2017, where we finally got
yeah,
back into the swing of like just full on comic book collecting. And so one of our very first times too of like trying to understand like, hey, you should guys go to conventions was because of Comic Asylum, aka
yeah.
Chick and Vel. Shout out to them. What?
Shout out to my boy. Uh, it's funny that I sit here and I'm kind of reminiscing. Um, the microphone that I use is called Toner. It's a great brand, really kind
Uh,
of inexpensive brand that you can find on Amazon. But there was a guy that I worked with on the radio station. His name was Anthony Girardi. We called him G Unit, but his gamer tag was Toner. That was TON3R.
mhm.
And so I always, whenever I see my microphone, I'm reminded of him. And
Uh,
he is actually he finally was the one who pushed me over the edge, so to speak, to um, get into going to conventions. And him and I applied for San Diego Comic Con 2014,
wow.
and so it was in December of 2013, um, and I'm just getting an alert that Jr. posted something on Instagram, so I have to share it.
Oh no, I was a while
Oh
ago.
wait, never mind. That was a while ago. It just finally got to
I
me.
was a while ago. Mhm.
Um, yeah, that's a topic for another day.
Hmm.
Um, sorry, something popped up on my Instagram feed. And it involves a nerdy character, and he is going down a dark path. We'll talk about the Sith Lord there at a later
Ah,
time. I'm sure
okay.
Jr. knows who I'm talking about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so back on stay on target, Kevin. Stay on target.
So,
Um, Anthony got us to apply in. It was December of 2013. We were trying to go to 2014 Comic Con. Didn't hear squat. Didn't hear jack shit from them.
mhm,
So
mhm,
fast forward. This was in December of 2013. Don't hear anything. Don't even say a sorry. No, you're not getting to go to Comic Con San Diego in 2014.
mhm.
Fast forward to 2015, spring of 2015, I randomly get an email from Comic Con International saying, congratulations, your application has been approved. You are now attending San Diego Comic Con 2015. So my
Nice.
very first convention, never been to squat in my life. I get to go to San Diego Comic Con 2015, and Kevin's like, "You're probably going, what was a big deal about San Diego Comic Con 2015?" Oh, I don't know. It was probably the Star Wars panel for Force Awakens. It also was the anniversary. I think it was the something like the 35th anniversary of the first time that Star Wars ever went to Comic
Yeah.
Con. It
Was
also
it?
was the what's up?
It was the first. It was the first. Oh, I'm pretty sure I'm going to jump ahead, and I apologize in advance, man. But like, was the Marvel panel also the first announcement of Brie Larson
No,
as
that
Marvel?
was,
Or was that
I
2016?
believe, because Marvel Studios did not have an official panel at 2015. It was at 2016 because it was the one I missed. And that was
Mm.
the one where they announced Doctor Strange. They announced Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. That's where they announced the new logo, the new at the time was the second Marvel Studios theme, not the one we know now. It was
Mm.
the anyways. But yeah, 2016 I missed. 2015 was Deadpool, X-Men,
It was the first
Apocalypse.
one. Okay.
It was Apocalypse. So it
Okay.
was Deadpool, Apocalypse, the announcement of Channing Tatum. Said it backwards.
Mm.
Channing Tatum becoming
Oh
Gambit,
yeah,
which never happened,
that's right.
and
That's
of
never happened.
course
Yeah.
the Michael B. Jordan
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four. That also was the announcement of World of Warcraft or
Mm-hmm.
movie and a ton of other stuff. But it was a
Yeah.
really, really fun time. But I wasn't into comic books at the time. Fast
I
forward
mean,
to I missed 2016. At that point, I was collecting comics again because I had started going to Asylum. 2017, I'm all in.
yeah.
I am all in. And at that point, we had our first brag night at the Asylum because JR
Yep.
had introduced me to Stanley Lau, aka Art Germ.
Mm-hmm.
I had been reintroduced to J. Scott Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
I had been, yeah, that was crazy. 2017 was probably my favorite year. And I remember when I went in 2015, I was trying to go to all the panels. I wanted to go to Big Bang Theory. I wanted to go to Agent Carter, Agents of Shield. I went to Star
Yeah.
Wars. I went to Marvel. 2017, I barely left Artist Alley.
Yeah.
So
That's how it should
with
be.
that said, what was your first, before we get into the preview of
Nitty
WonderCon
gritty.
and our pro tips and tips and tricks of the trade, what was your first ever comic book convention?
I'm pretty sure I've been to like actually big conventions before. I think I've like been to like either a anime expo before or like something of that nature. I think for me, shoot, I think I went to a something here in Palm Springs, the Palm Springs Comic Con, when they first was around, and so that was kind of like cool. I went to it because Chicken Javel, they were one of the big mainstays there, and so they just brought everything. And when I mean everything, they had everything. And this is the year where, of course, Stan Lee was
Oh,
still alive. Yeah, it was like the second year of Palm Springs or Comic Con Palm Springs, and
Comic Con Palm Springs.
yeah, Comic Con Palm Springs, and then that's when they had a lot of big hitters. Man, they just came out of nowhere. I'm talking about they had J. Scott Campbell. Uh, they had freaking again Stan Lee. No, the second year. Yeah, second year. Jason Campbell, Stan Lee. They had who else they have? They had he who will not be named because I took a picture of him, right? He was a little bit of a dick, but then hey, it is what it is. But he signed my Deadpool 87. So if y'all know what that, or my Deadpool 98. So if y'all know what that means, then you know what I'm talking about. But we did that for we did. I saw him there. I also saw Roberto Ramos, he's always an awesome guy to hang out and chill. That was I think also that was the first year that Scotty Young was like after he got big, right? And he was still doing the
Yeah,
circuit a little bit. Like his booth was insane, man. It wrapped around
and
so
his
much.
booth
He
was right
brought
behind the
so
Asylum.
Yeah, and like that was great for Asylum. He was like, "Hey man, we got all this Scotty Young books here if you want to do it." And he's like, "Yeah, cool." And like that was my first, I guess, like snippet of like what is like to be in a comic related convention. And so because
Yeah.
a lot of the place or a lot of the comic a lot of the vendors there just sold comics, man. That was cool. Because there was of course the three of them at the time was was Comic Asylum. It was Interstellar Comics, which sadly enough we lost Interstellar Comics last year, and it was of
Yeah.
course oh my gosh, Sid's shop.
Desert Oasis.
Desert Oasis. I don't think he had stuff there though. If I remember correctly. I think he had like a little bit there.
Yeah, he did. That was the only convention here he ever did, and he did it because he actually got prime real estate. It was
Mm.
actually where the first door that opened when you went
Oh
and
yeah,
collected your badge and you walked in the main hallway. The way they had it configured at the Palm Springs Convention Center that year, one of the first doors that opened, you would go in and bam, you were right at Desert Oasis's booth. That
that's
was the
right.
only year he did it. And
I am. I
it
mean,
just
like,
he didn't have the manpower to cover the store and cover the convention. So
yeah, which is it sucks, but at the same time, it's like, hey man, he's still doing great now. Afterwards, there were a lot of other people that came through too. Greg Land was there. I remember taking a picture with Greg Land and his wife, and wanting to get a picture with him. This was the time where I wasn't super into like artists, but I still knew names
yeah,
and I still knew artwork. And it was after that time we're like, oh man, I really need to get on my grind of like figuring out who these artists are, like what their works look like. And ever since that, the next year I went to WonderCon for the first time. I think that was then 2018, if I remember correctly.
yeah, because I think you talked me into it because we went in 2019
Yes.
and that was the first time that I it was the second time I met Ryan Kincaid was at WonderCon 2019 because I had met Ryan at
Yeah.
I had met him FantasiaCon earlier that year because I think it was like a couple weeks before. So I don't know. I'd met him at FantasiaCon and then I met him at WonderCon, got him to do the uh, my Gwenpool
That's right.
variant, which is of course is my Infinity Gauntlet, which I think I'm going to have him do a follow up to it, and I want to have him do. I want him to draw Gwenpool with the Infinity Gauntlet, but I want her masked this time because he drew her without the mask. I want to have her with the mask, with that
Yeah.
Gwenpool shit-eating
Hmm.
grin, and I want her to flip off the cover with the Infinity Gauntlet on it. I
Yeah.
thought that'd be a great cover. So,
Cool.
um,
WonderCon 2018. And that was definitely an experience, I will say.
oh yeah,
I was definitely experienced. I went to go there. I think that was the time still I was like, and friend of the show, Adam Sintes was still around. I think Andrew, I think Jaeger wasn't there at the time, but I still think like a bunch of a bunch of like the people that that were also congregate from the comic shop. They went there. They always go there during WonderCon season, I guess, or WonderCon basically, and and like I would see them, avidly, and yeah, it was a fun and bad time. I will say that. Spending that amount of money in the first 10 minutes, not usually the best thing.
yep,
But it was a
that
fun
was
time.
me.
It was a fun time to like, all right, cool. These are definitely learning moments of the experience, but at the same time, they're fun moments. And so that is what we're trying to get to you guys tonight, hopefully, or the next couple of days, where we try to do this thing where we're trying to hopefully, if you guys are trying to do conventions this year, maybe it's your first time, or maybe it's your first you're going around, or maybe it's your second or third, or you just want to listen to like, well, what's coming up here in WinterCon. We're definitely gonna try to figure out or definitely trying to show you some tips and tricks, what to
Yes,
bring, what not to bring, who's going, what kind of artists, what kind of art stuff that might be there, what kind of comic books you might want to look out for, as well as just other things to like enjoy your time at WonderCon, because one, of course, it's not just about the comics, not about just the merchandise, but more so like, they show movies every Friday or Saturday. I remember watching the first time Batman Ninja 2019 WonderCon. That was the dopest shit. Batman Ninja with a bunch of people was the dopest thing, man. But Yeah, I digress.
Yeah, what
Go
people don't realize is they have a massive at the Anaheim Convention Center. They have a massive hall. It's actually where they host Hall D23, which is where they do all the
ahead.
big previews for the Disney properties during D23 convention, and they have previewed comic book content at WonderCon, which is something they very rarely have time to do in San Diego. But WonderCon, they have a little bit more room to do it now. And we'll talk about this when we get closer to San Diego and we do our San Diego Comic Con preview in July. Is
Mhm.
is some of the stuff that they stream there? But yeah, they do some TV and some movie
Yep.
previews. So um, yeah. So tips and trades. I think Jr. You started off with a
Yep.
bang on one of them, and that was
Don't
um,
blow your wad in the first 10 minutes.
now I'm guilty of it too. When I went in 2019, the way they have you come up, WonderCon, you kind of congregate and kind of
Mhm.
cattle
Heard.
wrangle you in these little
Yeah.
like they herd you in these little like shoots and stuff, basically in the basement
Hmm.
of the convention center, and um, then they walk you upstairs and you kind of come in, and where we dropped off, you kind of come around this corner where they dropped us off was this huge Funko booth, and I remember as Jr. so eloquently put it, almost blew my wad in the first 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Uh to shout out a person I usually regularly see. He's on Instagram as well. Elvin Comics. He actually showed up to the second year Palm Beach Comic Con, and I bought a lot of stuff from him when he was in Palm Springs. I see him in WonderCon, and yeah, that's one of the first places I go to. He got some new stuff. He got some new stuff that I saw, and I'm like, damn, man, I brought like $600-700 to WonderCon or somewhere around that price range. First time, like, so I really want to spend that much my first 10 minutes. Guess what happened? I didn't spend the whole thing. Obviously, I didn't spend the whole thing. More so, it's
yeah,
like, oh man, dang. So I spent quite a few hundos on their Elton Comics, and so he had a bunch of awesome Adam Hughes comic books. He had a bunch of other things I needed to get from my art collections for artists. And so yeah, I was that was definitely not the right thing to do, mainly because and I can't say the right thing, but more so like it's always best to pace yourself, guys. And one of the biggest things that we always said before is that you always want to take it easy on the first literal day, in the first like 10 minutes. You want to calm down because majority of the time you probably find that either that same comic, that same little thing, that pop, that merchandise, whatever, probably somewhere else, maybe for cheaper, or maybe you could probably haggle a little bit because the person that might have that thing that you want might have some other things that you want, and you can work on stuff like, okay, if I buy these other things, maybe you could give that price a little bit lower, haggling basically. It's easier to do, I will say, with like certain comic vendors and certain merchandise people than others. Obviously, just more so, just like just need to take your time. Don't blow your wad in the first 10 minutes. Don't blow your wad in the first day. Majority of the times too, if you wait that Sunday, at the end, if you have that time, uh, a lot of people, a lot of vendors, a lot of merchandise people, they want to kind of get rid of their stock at that point, and they don't want to carry a lot of stuff out. So they're more lenient to like deals. So rather than that thing that was like, 10, 20, $30 at your price range, it might be within more, it'd probably be within like more $5 in your price range, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. Who knows? It's just more so, again, you need to just kind of wait it out and enjoy your time, the festivities, and looking around and just enjoying the convention itself. Because as a person now that's been going for quite a while, yeah, man, that there's a reason why WonderCon, the first thing they put you in front of as you walk up those steps from the basement floor is the full on merchandise aisles, man. You see,
exactly.
everything, bro. One of the awesome things I will continue to say about my stay at Emerald City Comic Con, even though it was really brief, really short, and only went like a day and a half because of my foot. They had the whole merchandise slash like vendor alley at the very bottom of the basement, basically the basement floor, while you enter around the second floor. And so, yeah, about the second floor because there's about 2 flights of stairs you got to go down in order to get to the merchandise alley or to the vendor alley. And so that was one of the cool things. The first floor you go to in ECC the new Seattle Convention Center is straight to Artist Alley, and that was cool. I got to see a lot of artists there. Now, when you go to WonderCon, it probably will be the exact same thing we've been going through over the last couple of years. You'll go straight. You'll see just straight through like, these big. You'll see the big vendors of what's that like DC or
Yeah.
Image, and you'll see a bunch of stuff that you might want to put money down right then and there because that's how they get you, of course. But yeah,
Yeah, I just
it's
remember when they dropped us off last time, it was they kind of came in like and it was funny, it was like there was another convention going on at the same time.
mhm,
And we came in and I was like, there's like these lawyers wandering. I'm like, oh, these must be like the studio executives. And someone's like, no, there's actually another convention going on behind the scenes. They're just having to use these back rooms. So we kind of came in like literally like a back entrance.
mhm,
And when we came in, it actually dropped us off where we dropped off in 2019 was the was in the like the food court area, and but there was
mhm,
a bunch of like Funko booths and some like uh, oh my goodness, like action figures and stuff like that.
mhm.
But I do know that they do kind of cattle herd you through two different locations. So where JR came in may have been another way because it's I cannot tell you because I've only been there once.
Yeah,
I cannot tell you the layout of Anaheim Convention Center. It is so weird. Whereas
yeah,
San Diego Comic Con, it's a straight shot. It's about 300 yards, maybe even
yeah.
bigger, of just one long convention center, and
Mhm.
that's perfect. So,
Yeah. I think the Anaheim Convention Center has 3 floors, 3 or 4 if you're not counting the bottom basement level. And so
yeah,
majority of the time when you first start out on Fridays, you go wherever you're from, you head down to the convention center, right? That long alleyway, right? And then you
yeah,
go to those doors where they have the scanners there. Yes, you take your card, you scan it. You go to the left side where initially that's where you get your you go to the left side of it that's initially where you get your badge, but you keep on going further down and that's where the lines start in the very basement level. And then after that, after the doors open, whatever have you, they usher people into the first set of stairs going upwards, and then you go to the main merchandise aisle. That's what I happen to do. Because I went there again the Fridays before. The Saturdays though, when I will be arriving, is that mainly like everything's gonna be open up anyway. So
oh yeah,
rather than going to that left side door, there'll be doors at the very front of the Anaheim Convention Center anyway, and so people could just enter through there. It's just more so now. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a longer line at the front where you have to scan your passes and whatnot, and most likely that if you're either cosplaying or have some type of like some type of like. Mm, I guess cosplay weapon, item, whatever have you. They'll probably they'll probably make you
yeah.
check that in.
I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do there.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna bring?
Well, um,
Oh, because you're gonna be
I'm gonna cosplay at least one of the days as a Jedi.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I got to
Okay.
figure out which lightsaber I'm gonna bust out. Am I gonna
You better not be
go?
you better not be breaking Ahsoka's $300 lightsabers, bro. You better not be doing that.
Well, I'm tempted
Okay.
to do Ahsoka's just because it would be cool to have two, but then
Hmm.
I'm carrying two lightsabers around all day.
Yeah.
And so, but at the same time, the other one I have is Mace Windu, and
Yep.
his is very heavy.
Oh yeah.
So, and then if my son brings his, and he has a Darth Vader's, he has Vader's circa A New Hope.
Mm. Mm.
Um, yeah, it's bitching. It's super
Cool.
cool.
Cool. Cool.
I am trying to convince my wife to head across the street to downtown Disney so I can go to the Star Wars Trading Post and
Wow.
acquire a new lightsaber because allegedly they might have Ahsoka's Rebel blades back in
Ooh,
stock.
interesting.
And of course, for those who don't know,
Those
Ahsoka's
are
Rebel
great.
blades
Yeah.
are the white ones, which are the ones that are curved hilt
Yeah.
that she
Sure.
started using after she came back. For those who don't know, the Clone Wars, spoiler alert, in Clone Wars, she is actually kicked out of the Jedi Order because she is
Mm,
framed. She is
mm,
framed for a murder,
yeah.
and she is kicked out of the Jedi Order. They
Initially.
forgive her when
Mhm.
Anakin finds out who really did it, and she basically said, "Screw you guys! You didn't want me. You didn't trust me, so I'm out." And which, of course,
Yeah.
which I didn't know
I,
this is that she led her to in the finale when she fought Darth Vader. He
which
makes a comment
finale?
about her being well, not the finale. Maybe it was a season finale, but it was
Rebels?
when he fought. Was
Oh,
it in Rebels or was it in Clone Wars
Rebels.
where she fights Darth Vader?
Rebels. Rebels because
Rebels.
let me
Okay.
see. Yeah.
Anyways, where she makes the comment, "I'm no Jedi," so she's still kind of denounces, and that's why it's
Yeah.
some believe, and Jr. is of course the end all scholar on Ahsoka Tano. People believe that is why she to this day still yields or wields the
White
white
lightsaber. Mm-hmm.
purified lightsabers because
Can I know more?
for those who don't know, the blades were what she originally had Sith blades that she purified, and that's why they're white.
I
That's the
don't
story I heard.
recall. Okay, I don't
That
recall. I
when
gotta
she
look
was
back
kicked
into
out
it.
of the Jedi Order, she acquired a when she created the new kyber with the new
Wait. I
hilt
think that was it.
that
It
they
was. It was.
came with red kyber
Yeah.
crystals, and she purified them or something like that.
It was. It was a sense of like. Okay, so not to say you're wrong right about any of that. Not to say
Right.
you're wrong,
We're
but
chasing an
it,
Ahsoka rabbit, by the way.
it was a lot more delicate than with that with Ahsoka. It's like it's more so the ideals. The person who betrayed the temple, the Jedi Order, was basically she had a point. Like, yo, we're not Jedi. We're a militaristic force, and so that's why I bombed this. That's why I bombed the church or whatever, right? To make a point. And so they blamed it on Ahsoka, and Ahsoka's like, she's right. We're just a militaristic force. Like, this isn't the ways of the Jedi. This wasn't what you guys taught me. I'm not coming back. No, you guys are against the ideals that you set out to be. It would be like, uh,
She's not. Yeah,
uh
she's not wrong.
she's not wrong.
They were.
It would be
They
more.
were. They were. They were
It's
keepers of the peace.
it would be like the Crusades. It'll be like that. Like
Yeah.
if it would be more so like in the sense of like if you had someone who was taught the ideals of whatever religion, particularly here in Christianity of Jesus Christ, saying, hey, no, like we understandably so that yeah we are against certain things. No, that's not that you can't kill, whatever have you, and all that stuff. But then you have the Crusades happen as a militaristic force, and she's like, no, dude, no, this isn't against our order. And so that's what happened with her. That's why she left. She's a Jedi no more. That was the pivotal line. She did go against Anakin, aka Darth Vader, in the I think yeah the season finale of Rebels 1, and that's when people thought that they killed her off. And that pissed off a lot of people, including myself. I'm like, you really killed off Ahsoka? What the hell? And this is before season 5 of Clone Wars was it at that point, right? Season 5 or season 6? Yeah, season 5. Yeah, we thought like that was when Disney bought Lucasfilms, and they bought the whole Star Wars franchise, and they stopped doing Clone Wars, and they just said, hey, do Rebels instead. And so all that to say, getting Ahsoka stuff, cool. Cool. How dare you? How dare you? But cool. I'm definitely gonna probably gotta look. I'm probably gonna look at the if Sideshow collectibles is gonna be there at WonderCon. I'm probably be looking at if they have any Ahsoka
Oh,
statues.
Sideshow
Oh, I
announcing
might.
this
I might.
past week. Ted
Oh,
Lasso, at Todd McFarlane, McFarlane Toys,
yeah.
in
Mhm.
conjunction with Sideshow, is doing a Ted Lasso statue. So pretty cool.
Should be interesting.
By the way, I have seen episode 1 of the new season. It's hilarious. We've created a new drinking game, and that is every time Roy Kent says the F word, we have to take a shot. We were drunk in the first sentence. So rule number 1: don't blow your load in the first 5 minutes. If it's an item that you really want and you think, oh my god, it's not going to be there in an hour, you proceed with caution.
Yeah.
My recommendation, and this goes into what we're doing here, is have a plan.
Yeah.
And a plan is, first off, you go on to WonderCon or San Diego Comic-Con and go to their website and you look at the guest list. Okay.
Yep.
In this particular case, 2 names that jump out at me is Jason Aaron. So I will be going into those books somewhere and finding my my Jane Foster Thor series.
Yep.
And of course, the big one is of course the lovely, I know it doesn't really do her justice, the lovely Jenny Frison is going to be there. Of course, much to JR's delight, Adam Hughes is going to be at WonderCon. Now, it's not a big deal for Adam Hughes to be at a convention. It's a big deal for him to be at WonderCon. Yeah. He's not typically a WonderCon guest. He is a San Diego Comic-Con staple. He is cemented himself as...
He's not typically a West Coast convention guy either.
Unless it's San Diego. But that's all bets are off.
Like, majority of the time, too, you don't see him in Rose City. You don't see him in I've yet to see him in Emerald City for the last couple of times. Like, I would take notice of, like, who's going to Emerald City. He wasn't there on the guest list. And he's been kind of like, low key the last 2 years. Granted, we did have COVID that happened, but even before then, he was kind of like in and out of places, man. Like the most stuff he's did was those fringe appearances at, let's say, Torpedo Comics in Las Vegas, where we got somebody who has enough money to pay for one Adam Hughes and Jim Lee to come into a freaking comic book store together, right? And just do that. And so, like, but other than that, man, it's like you rarely see this gentleman at conventions nowadays. And so him coming to the West Coast, specifically to WonderCon, I'm just holding up my my Catwoman 51 right here. It was one of the very first covers I got for Adam Hughes, and I think this is the first cover I got from 2016 Palm Springs Comic-Con Palm Springs, from the one and the only Elvin Comics who was down here. And so everything comes full circle. Bring that stuff to him. Also, I will say, before you get into more artist stuff, right? If you look at these, if you are a fan of certain artists and authors that are here, that are on the guest list, make sure you buy them before the convention. The reason why I say that is because there's this huge thing called convention prices for comic books, for any type of art. If they know a big name or whatever have you is going to be at convention center, guess what's going to happen? A lot of people are going to bring their stuff, and they're probably going to mark up the prices, man. It's the game. We all know this. But like, let's say, right here, I'll show you a Power Girl 1 from Adam Hughes, the Palmati and Connor cover. Oh no, storybook that came out in like 2011, I think, right? With Adam Hughes. I bought this for like $20, right? $25 or so. I'm pretty sure they're gonna right? A hundo will be crazy. A hundo will be crazy. I'm hoping it won't go that crazy. It might be. I'm gonna put it past people, because we've seen convention prices before with big names. I've seen Jim Lee prices go super high up with people, see that.
I got my 5 Jim Lee autographs, so I'm good.
Oh, screw you. Okay.
Hey, I will say this: come prepared. I have to whittle this pile down right here. This right here is just my Jenny Frisons. So I have to whittle this down. This might be a must. This is a pretty bitchin' Batman cover that she did for Batman Black and White. So we'll get into that.
I might if anything for me, I might just bring books to have them signed by artists, because that's Like for me now, unless it's a big book that I want or an older book, I think I might just go there and get stuff from like Artist Alley and people just sign stuff, man. I know David Mack's gonna be
Oh,
there again this year, so
oh,
I'm
David
definitely
Mack's gonna
gonna
be
go.
there. Oh,
Like,
David
yeah,
Mack.
David Mack's gonna be there. And so what I meant to say is that when I do see Adam Hughes, I'm having him sign this and probably send it to CGC. No, CGC is of course an acronym for Certified Graded Comics. That is one of the more quote unquote official platforms where you can go and send your comics off to have it graded. That's a beautiful cover, by the way, beautiful cover. For those who are listening to us, my buddy here, he's showing a bunch of Daredevil, the Daredevil run that David Mack
This
did
is
back in
this
2011.
is this is the Marvel Knights run.
Okay.
This is oh goodness gracious. This might be it doesn't have the year on it, but yeah, this is a put it this way. That's the run where he created Echo.
Yeah. So that was about 10
And
years
it's
ago,
a
10, 11 years ago now.
yeah, it is
Or older.
probably
Sounds
it's
it?
probably it's probably his number one or his number two best run that he's known for. I know that he didn't
Mm.
write for Alias, but
Yeah.
he is very well known for his run on Alias, which was of course
Yeah.
Jessica Jones. I know Brian Michael Bendis was a writer on that one. We don't like to talk about him a lot because
Yeah.
his best years are behind him.
Well, Brian, I want to give Bendis the shot, at least, a shot in the dark. He did make some great characters, and he continued to do some good stuff, man. But it's just like, bro, like we can't give you continuity stuff, man. But like when he does stuff like when he's able to create content, it's good. It's really, really good. I think
Yeah.
one of his best works too was when he went to DC. I'm pretty sure that David helped him with some of his books when he went to DC. When he made his own stuff, his solo stuff. I just forgot what they were, but yeah, the name slips my mind, but I remember reading a couple of them. They were pretty good. But other than that, again, convention.
This kind of ties into what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Exactly what Jared's talking about is come prepared, bring your own shit. And even be careful about if you're coming in from out of town, if you're watching us from out of town, meaning out of Southern California, buy it where you live. Because if you come to Southern California, even here in the desert, Chick is known for marking the prices up on a book when she knows someone's going to be at San Diego or WonderCon. She definitely marks it up, and so does Sid, and so did Adrian at Interstellar. Was they marked it up when certain artists were going to be in town for the local conventions. But this is a tip that I've done. First and foremost, before you go to a convention, go to Target. And we're not a shill for Target. This is just what I choose to use because it's everything that I need is in one aisle. Go to the office supply aisle. You're going to want to grab a package of black Sharpies and a package of usually come in this package. You grab a package of the black Sharpies, grab the Sharpie pen, the fine tip pen package, buy the gold, silver, and bronze package. And then this is my own personal touch. And this is, you can even ask David Mack because he kind of liked this, I buy the metallic multicolor pack. So you're going to have a bunch of Sharpies, put those in your con bag. You're going to want those for, like what JR says, going to Artist Alley, because you start bringing options for color, you might end up with a accidental remark. And what a remark is, for example, let's just say I go to see Rose Besh. She's not going to be at WonderCon. So I got a Rose Besh cover here of Draculina or whatever. And first and foremost, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, on the back here, I'm going to have these little tabs. And you see them. They're usually on legal documents where it's tax season. So you're usually on your tax forms and it has a little thing there and it says sign here. Well, I get a bunch of those and I put them on the back of this book. So what I'll do is everyone I know that's going to be at the convention, I'll put a little tab on the back and I'll write that person down, knowing I want Rose Besh, I want John Smith, I want Jane Doe to sign this book.
Yeah.
So I know and I have it organized. So then when I'm like, okay, Saturday, I'm going to go to Rose Besh's book. So I go through my bag and I go, Rose Besh. Okay, there's all the Rose Besh books because I find the little tab. Now, what a remark is is you could get an autograph. You get Rose's autograph, whatever. A remark is on this cover, they go and draw something and they remark it. They'll either draw something on the subject, or they'll put a little sketch
Yeah.
on there. There's a fine line between a sketch and a remark. But yeah, some people, if they feel inclined, when you give them some color options, when you give them like,
Yeah.
oh, these are kind of cool Sharpies, they get inspired. And if you're nice to, by the way, if you're nice to people,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying do this to get free shit, but if you're
But
nice to
like,
people, you tend to get some cool shit. Like,
yeah, like don't be a dick.
don't be a jackass, by the way.
Don't
Don't
be a
be a
dick.
dick.
Like, yeah, like just to everybody around you, and like we don't want an occurrence of what happened to Peach Momoko back in 2021 or 2022
Oh,
New York Comic Con, and we've talked about that before. And so if you know, you know, we don't want any other occurrence of that. These people are human beings, first and foremost.
yeah.
The people around you are human beings. It's not about you. It's about the environment, and so it's about the whole overall convention environment. And so just chill, bruh. Just chill. You know, you're gonna be there. That was probably one of the biggest things too. I want to point out etiquette. Etiquette's usually a
Yeah.
great thing too. Like it's don't be that person. Don't be that person where one you have like if you know an artist or is a pretty famous artist coming out and you bring 100 books for this person to sign. You know what I'm talking about. Scotty Young, his first when we talked about Scotty Young when he first got big, there has been a couple of times where certain individuals, right, a line was held up for 30 minutes because
Yep.
this person brought quite literally 30 to 50 books for Scotty to sign. And Scotty was nice when he said, hey, they're all free. Signatures are free. What happens majority of the time is that when etiquette isn't involved in a lot of these things, that's when signatures go from free to 15 to 20 to $50, mainly because of the fact
Yep.
that a lot of things come involved. Like one, you don't want to hold the line. You don't want to hold the line. And two, sometimes I understand people want to get stuff signed because they can sell on eBay, they flip it, they do all these other things. We get that, right? But just overall, decent etiquette. Decent etiquette to
Yep.
the person behind you, the person in front of you, which is of course the artist, and the people around you. Just yeah. But if you had anything to add, my friend, go ahead.
No, normally I would show you. I have two backpacks that I'm going to bring to convention. One of which is in my car, and I just don't want to open up the garage. The other one's in my office. It's a
Yeah.
Yeti backpack.
Yeah.
I'm everyone knows. I mean, come on, I'm a honk for Yeti. Yeti has a really cool backpack system that will actually hold a water bottle inside your backpack. It actually has a slot for the back. They're a couple $100, but I didn't realize backpacks these days, shit, a cheap one is going to run you
Mm,
$60.
mm.
So you're already looking at a good backpack is going to
Yeah.
run you over $100.
Yep.
A name brand Yeti backpack's going to run you over a couple $100. But what I do like about the Yeti backpacks, they have a slot for your water bottle, plus plenty of room for anything else. I took it to San Diego last year. It was really, really convenient. The bag that I like for Asylum, and JR has it there, is if you open it up where the quote laptop slot is, inside is actually it's a perfect rectangle
Yep.
to slide in your comic book holders. And a comic book holder is these kind of cardboard so that little slot right there will fit one of these comic book holders, and they're the shape of a comic book. They're probably about that thick, and there you go, right there. That will slide in perfectly in that little slot. Now you can actually, I have done this, you can technically fit up to 3 in there. I wouldn't
Yep.
recommend it. 2 is enough. That's
Yeah.
why you spread out your time. So organize your weekend. Know what you're going to bring. That's why I'm going to be spending the entire week after work,
Yeah.
finding out who the entire guest list is, not just the
Yeah.
guests. Remember, when you look on a convention website, it's going to say guest list. Now, the guest list means that they are being paid by the convention to be there.
Yeah.
They are a special guest of the convention, and those autographs are going to be very difficult to get. Now, I'm going to come prepared to potentially possibly get Jenny Friesen's autograph. Adam Hughes, I like
Yeah.
his work. I'm not a big fan like JR is. I've actually literally walked right past Adam Hughes' booth in San Diego, and there was nobody in line.
How dare you? Good.
And I didn't have I didn't have anything for him to sign, and I didn't want to buy anything at his booth because all of his stuff is completely marked up.
Mhm.
Now, granted, they were all Virgin variants, which would have pissed JR off because I don't think he has very many.
Oh,
But
wow.
anyways,
Yeah.
but like
Okay.
Jason Aaron and Jenny Frison, I'm willing to wait in a line for.
Yeah.
Now don't be like, oh my gosh, this is a weak convention. You got to understand, Artist Alley is a completely different animal, and you have to go in there and you have to look at who. Usually, there is an Artist Alley list. Let's take a look. We'll use this opportunity now. So don't blow your load. Come prepared. Bring a water bottle, but check the rules to make sure what the rules are for water bottles. A lot of things are
Yeah.
changed on that.
Yeah. I remember our first year we couldn't bring stuff from the outside. And then the
Yeah.
following year they were chill. And so the rules change varied on like, I guess, like, I don't know, just the outcome and what we're doing for it though. But yeah, also another big thing too is that when it comes to guests as well, when it comes to the guest list, make sure you know their time slots, right? Make sure you know the time
Yes.
slots. Make sure you know like when they're actually, like, if they're gonna be there the whole weekend, that Friday, Sunday. If they're there for a day, if they're there for 2 days, when do they have breaks? When they have, when do they go out to have their own panels or so? What if they have other, if they have like other private signings, and so because the majority of that time too, you want to work your schedule around that. So again, of course, if you are going to these conventions, they'll most likely either send you what's on your quote unquote itinerary you through emails, or when you get to the convention center, they'll give you like it'll give you, for specifically from WonderCon at least, they'll give you like a pamphlet or a book saying, hey,
Yeah.
here's all the vendors, here's all the guest lists, here's the time slots, blah blah blah. And of course too, there's because of technology, there's apps nowadays too. So WonderCon has their own app. They'll tell you who's going to be appearing at what time. They have this own other thing too called like this lottery list of like if you can get to a lottery now, where if you want to get to a certain like high profile panel, you have to enter a lottery list in order to get there. It's just this is other thing because it's just basically to mitigate time and mitigate people who want to go to these things specifically. And so that's
Jay
definitely one
Lee.
thing you need to look upon. And so yeah, you understand that if you have a certain artist or author that is there, make sure when they're gonna come, when their time slots are, when their breaks are gonna be, so you can like basically schedule around that. So it doesn't necessarily like, you're not, you don't go the last day and the person you've been waiting for isn't there the last day because he was there because he or she was there the first 2 days.
It
So
should
that's
be
what definitely
pointed
one thing.
out that very rarely does this kind of stuff happen, but Jenny Frison is on the Artist Alley list, which probably means that she's going to probably be at comicsketchart.com's booth,
Ooh.
which is kind of that's usually where like Tom King
I
is during
mean,
San
yeah.
Diego.
But she's
I
there too.
can't say that I'm a huge fan of that website.
Mm.
Um, but I've had some great secondary customer service with them at these conventions. But just be leery of that booth.
Yep.
Some other names that I'm seeing on RS Alley, like JR mentioned, David Mack is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? I just saw another big name. Coy Turnbull, which is a really cool artist. If you want to get some really, really cool artwork, like
Mm-hmm.
some prints and stuff like that, go to Coy's booth. Really does a lot of really neat Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, he is a black artist
Yeah.
and does a lot of more African American characters. He
Yep.
did a Black Panther that I have. It is absolutely breathtaking. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think I showed it on the podcast last
Yeah.
weekend.
Uh, Also, surprisingly enough, I will say, Campbell's not gonna be there. I didn't see his name. Jay Scott.
I'd not seen his name, but I do see Matt Banning, who's a longtime Batman artist, is going to be there. I've met him so many times, it's not even funny. We mentioned Jay Lee is going to be there.
Jay Lee's gonna be there.
Who's that?
Yep, Jay Lee's gonna be there.
Yeah, Norm Rapman is going to be there. An old Batman and Superman artist. Kind of going through just kind of the big names. Obviously, I'm going to print this list up. My boy, Ron Lim's going to be there.
Yeah, of course.
Ron Lim.
Of course he's going to be there.
If you have an opportunity. Oh, Ryan Parrott's going to be there. Ryan Parrott is, of course, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers creator or
artist.
I think he does the artwork. I've got a couple of books I want him to sign. So that's really cool. But Ron Lim is absolute one of the nicest people you ever meet in your life. For being a guy who has worked on such amazing books in his career, he has every right to be a dick, and he's the nicest man in the world.
Yeah, 100%.
He's right up there with David Mack, in my opinion. Yeah. And David Mack is just chills.
He's great. He's great. I'm just showing my Jay Lee cover right now from not Slaughterhouse, but something Killing the Children, #1. This is on my eBay right now. I'm selling this.
Wow, but you're right.
Yeah.
J. Scott Campbell not on the list,
which is weird because he's a California guy.
But you know what though? This is all just Artist Alley. Let me look and see. Sometimes they have him listed because he's at his own booth.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's an exhibitor.
Maybe.
So let's take a look at that.
And another thing too,
some more books.
Another thing too that's surprising me, we have yet to see Donnie. I haven't seen Donnie Cates in a minute, dude. Donnie Cates, the at one point rock star, fireball kid for Marvel, doing Venom, doing I think he's doing Hulk now. I think, or he was. He did at one point. He also did Guardians of the Galaxy, and so yeah, he's not really doing stuff anymore, or that I have seen. So he's not gonna be there.
He was not at San Diego last year. I saw.
A break. Yeah, whatever. He's just taking a break.
KRS Comics will be there, but J. Scott Campbell, even in the vendor list, not listed. So, very, very interesting that he's not there because he is usually a mainstay. Because he usually will have a WonderCon exclusive.
Yeah, like the last couple years too. This is one of the best buys for me is that when he first came out initially with his mystery box, best $80 I spent. It was the stuff that I got from his mystery box from it was from 4 or 5 years ago, man. And this is before when he redid when he redid his mystery box just recently. It's more of his newer stuff, and that's fine. But bro, I'm telling you, man, Candace and I, when we first went to WonderCon, right? And he was there, and I just saw some stuff too. He had oh my god, dude! I got one mystery boxes, and it just came with 1 sec. I literally just passed it up. It came with it came like the Gwenpool Venoms, not not Gwenpool Venoms. It was the Venom covers that he did, right, with the pinup covers. I got one of those out of nowhere. He did do a Gwenpool. He did do a Gwenum cover, and I got that one. That came back 98, and so it's dude, I bought 3 or 4 of those, right? Even though they're pretty pricey, or 2 or 3 of those pretty pricey. I got back at least $500 worth of stuff, bro. I sold them. I sent them CDC. It's I'm sitting on some money, bro. And so that was one of the best buys.
I will say.
Go ahead. Oh, I think he's pausing out. Ladies and gentlemen, I will continue to talk. He might be out. But I will say, man, it's it was some of the best buys I've had for a minute. Oh, I think we got him back. You back? Kev?
Yeah.
There you go. Go ahead.
So we're gonna run into some technical issues here. The interference I'm getting inside my garage is starting to really catch up.
Mm.
Damn you, Time Warner Internet. So kind of wrapping up. Comfortable shoes. Have a backpack. Bring plenty of
Yep.
supplies. I
Mhm.
do recommend doing my little tag, the little tags here on the back. Get everything signed.
Yeah.
The other thing too is if you stumble upon someone that you've never heard of before, this is my biggest thing. If you look at
Mhm.
someone and you're like, like, hey, I know your work, or my God, this work looks so familiar. I guarantee you're going to go back to your local convention, your comic book store, and go like, oh, it's that guy. And the next year,
Yeah.
he's going to be freaking massive.
Yeah.
So if it's
Peach
too
Momoko.
good to be true, and Peach Momoko, our boy Ryan
Hey
Kincaid just
man,
freaking blew up.
good for him.
Tony Fleeks.
Tony
Tony Fleeks
Fleeks.
was already a big name, but he went from big name to he's getting to almost god stature at Comic Cons.
We can't
He's
talk
getting
to him
there.
anymore. We can't talk to him anymore. We were chilling, but now he's to the point where we literally can't talk to him anymore.
Yeah.
He's too busy.
Yeah. So find those guys, and you know what's kind of cool is go to an artist alley, and this is why I like CLZ. Type in, you go to CLZ, you type in, you're walking through artist alley, you see a guy just sitting there sketching, right? Just sketching, because they'll do it. They'll be sitting there, they'll be on their iPad sketching,
Mhm.
they'll have a big old art book sketching. Look at their tag, do a little Google search, and go like, or a little search in your, oh shoot, that's the guy that does that. You will make their day. Go over there and just shoot the shit with them. Find something to buy, shoot the shit with them, and learn about the business. If you're an artist that wants to get into this business, if you could get a sit down with Stanley Lau, cool. If you can get a sit down with J. Scott Campbell, cool. With whoever,
Big names, yeah.
Gleason, with Scotty Young, with
Yeah.
Ryan Kincaid. If you get that, cool. But if you see a guy sitting there by himself and you look at it and go like, and he's done more than about 20 or 30 books in your, and it's and they're in your collection, go talk to him. And the stuff you will learn about this business is amazing. That for me, and I'm not trying to compare David Mack to that, but David Mack isn't that. I mean, he is a big name. I mean, the guy's on the Mount Rushmore, in my opinion, of artists of the last 5, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Hands down. But he's not J. Scott Campbell. He's not Archer. He should be, but he's not. And he's okay with that. And you can go to his booth, and they're never more than about 1 or 2 deep. And if you can bend his ear for 5-10 minutes, he will talk to you. He will talk to you about the business. He'll tell you the do's and don'ts. And that's my recommendation.
He overall, just specifically, he's just for David Mack, because I'm just gush about David Mack, man. He's awesome guy.
Oh, we both fanboy over him, yeah.
Dude, like, again, I met him at ECC. Just talking about, like, I bought his stuff. It wasn't even from me. I bought it from my nephew, my cousin, right? They were down there, and he loved that. I'm like, I'm a big fan. He's like I'm a big fan. He's like one of my favorite artists, man. And I'm like, I'm coming back to buy some of this other stuff because, like, because hey, you got the death print, the Death and Endless print there. Like, you don't sell that anymore. You don't sell big ones. You're like, we're just talking. We're just talking shit. Like, yeah, you like, they're out in the UK. We can't buy it here. So the small prints. We're just talking, and that amount of genuineness, right? You would have with, like, just people, authors and artists, that goes a long way with them, because, like, that means that, like, for them, you're a fan of their work, right? And so that's the thing, man. Like, when you meet these awesome artists, these awesome authors, and you're just a genuine fan of their work, or you love what they're doing, you understand what they're doing, and, like, I'm hoping you're hopefully in good spirits with them there as they are with you. That goes a long way. That goes from, like, hey, I know that it says here on my list that it's $15 a signature. You know what? We've been talking for a little bit. Here's 5 of them for free. Oh yeah, okay, let me drop down like $10 on this print for you guys because we've been talking for a little bit, right? And you sound like a cool guy. You sound like a cool person. That happens, man. So like
It happened with me and David Mack.
it happens a lot. It's just more so. I think this was the biggest one too. A lot of the people that go to these conventions as well. I understand. We all have social anxiety, right?
Yeah.
But if you're a fan and people know that you're a fan and you're a genuine fan, and you approach them with respect and they approach you with respect, believe me, that goes a long way. And so this is just again, it goes back to one of my earlier points of proper etiquette towards everybody, right? Make sure you respect people's spaces, make sure you respect people's time and their money. You don't be like what you will see most likely people that come in and will try to like super like lowball people. We've had that happen. I've seen that happen. Good God, I have because of the result of that happening. The my buys are freaking horrible now because like no, these are the prices now. That goes to everybody type of stuff. Like it happens. It happens a lot in conventions. Don't be a dick. Just enjoy your time there. Be careful of where you go. Be careful of your stuff because again, there's going to be a lot of people there. I'm not to here to like shower any like negativity in that sense. But like again, just be wary of your surroundings because there are also going to be people there like just like I'm not gonna say creepers, but like just more so like just know where your wallet is. And so that's well, going back to this right here, the backpack. One of the main reasons why I love this one is because yes, it is anti-theft proof. You
Because
wouldn't be
the zipper is on your back.
on your back. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how much theft happens during convention center. Oh my goodness, there's so many people that like had full on cases upon cases of their own comic books and merchandise stolen from their trucks. It happens. That was one of the things too that even though we don't want to end on a downer, just make sure to go with people, you know and love. Always be in a crowd, always be around people. You know, understandably so. Respect people's spaces, respect your own personal space, and well, have fun. Have fun.
Yeah.
Just have fun. It's gonna be a long convention, 3 days. You can go
And that's
and
a mild one.
you can go and spend money, or you can go and just enjoy the experience, whatever the experience may be for you. There's gonna be stuff like, for those who play, D&D. There's for those who play other board games there. For those who
Yep.
cosplay. For those who karaoke. For those who play video games. It's like all that stuff's gonna be involved too. It's not just gonna be about the comics, which we all love,
No,
understandably so.
I was just gonna say, looking
Yeah.
at the event schedule, there actually are going to be 2 booths there for helping you build your own droid. There is actually going to be a
Hey,
BB-8 builder there. There's going to be an R2 builder there. The 501st is going to be there. Star Trek's version is going to be there. The 170,
yeah.
the 170, the 1701st is going to be there.
Hey. Hey.
But yeah, there's there's going to be a lot of other stuff. Usually the San Diego Comic Con, the Comic Con International Museum has a booth there, and they usually bring some cool stuff. One year they brought the Batmobile. One year they brought Black Beauty, which of course is Green Hornet's car.
Mhm.
They'll bring all kinds of cool stuff. So there's plenty of stuff to do there.
Yeah.
A lot of cosplayers. Yeah, don't be a creeper. There's actually cosplay booths. There will be booths for you to get help if you're wanting to cosplay.
Yeah.
I know that my daughter is going to check out some of the anime stuff. My
Yeah.
son wants to see some of the Star Wars stuff. Yeah, my daughter
Hey.
picked up her first 2 manga books, whatever you want to call it,
Which one? Which ones?
today.
Which ones?
Something Neverland.
Oh God, no! Promise Neverland.
So yeah,
I Promise Neverland.
yeah,
That's a heavy book. That's a heavy book. I'm gonna just let you know. That's a heavy book.
I know. She's watched some of the shows already. We've kind of watched it. It
Okay.
is a bit violent.
I
She kind of knows what she's
mean,
getting herself into.
okay.
She really likes Demon Slayer, and Demon
Okay.
Slayer
Okay.
manga books are very difficult to come by.
Yeah, they are. They
But
sell like hotcakes.
she enjoys it. So she's getting in all kinds of different stuff, and she's gonna
Start 'em
possibly
young.
go out.
Start
Yep.
'em young.
I think she's going out with my wife tomorrow to work on a cosplay costume.
Hey,
Whereas
that's
my son and
cool.
I were going with our Jedi robes from Halloween. We were gonna both order Sith
Uh,
versions and go as Sith
okay,
Lords, but they weren't gonna get here until the week after.
that's
So
adorable. Hey, man.
yeah, we don't
That's,
we don't build our own cosplay. We're not that good. But
yes.
use for example, my daughter wants to take. She got a sewing machine for her birthday. That's what she wanted, and she wants to learn how to make her own stuff. So I told her, I said, you can go from knitting hats for us to you can make your own costume. So she's interested in potentially building cosplay
Hey,
costumes.
good for her, man. That's hey,
So
hey, gotta love it. You gotta love it. That's awesome thing to do.
yeah,
Again, like we said, guys, there's a lot of things you can do at convention center other than just, of course, spend your money and buy stuff. Also, too, it's gonna be in Anaheim. You know what else is in Anaheim?
Disney.
Disneyland. Disneyland. There's been a couple of times where my sister has told me that, hey, Monong, if sometime during the middle of the night or whatever, right? If you don't see me, I'm probably at Disneyland. So
Yeah, of course, Candace is a annual pass holder.
yeah.
Um,
So yeah,
has been for years. So we
uh,
almost pulled the trigger on it this year. I think we're gonna wait one more year to see where the
yeah.
shakeout at the company goes.
I think she's chilling this year. I think she told me before she's chilling this year because she wants to travel more elsewhere. So that's like instead of whatever it is to buy an annual pass for the whole year, she's gonna take that money and possibly go to Hawaii or something. So like, hey,
Cool.
hey
Good
man,
for
do what
her.
you gotta do. Other than that, guys, we've talked about
Yeah, if you guys have any other questions, hit
yep,
us up on social media at PS Comics. I love you.
yeah,
PS Comics, the letter U on Twitter is
yep,
probably the best way to find JR for the show. I'm not much on Twitter right now. You can hit us up on Instagram at
yep,
PS Comics. I love you on Instagram. Just send us a DM. And if you have any questions, if not, check out the WonderCon website. If you have any specific questions for WonderCon, um, they have not been very specific. I don't know what the COVID protocol is for this year. They
yep.
have not been very specific like they have been at San Diego and WonderCon in 2022.
Mm,
I do not know what their policy is on metal water bottles. I know that at San Diego Comic Con last year, this was perfectly okay. I
yeah,
know that so far this year, at least in the concert world, those are no nos. You're gonna have to go to
yeah.
plastic water bottles. So
Mm,
again, double check and see what it is. I do know that the Anaheim Convention Center has water refilling stations,
mhm.
much like the San Diego Convention does. So you could do that.
We can, yeah. I'm pretty sure. Also, we'll probably get to another episode where, like, even probably still before the convention center. I'm pretty sure if you guys already know this, like, what's the do's and don'ts like before the convention actually happens. Like,
Yeah,
getting the hotel, that's the easy stuff. Well, not the easy stuff. Like, that's the stuff that you should really think about too. Getting the hotel, money, gas, all that stuff. But like, you're gonna be there technically for 3 to 4 days. Buy a lot of water. Like, buy a
yeah,
24 pack.
absolutely.
Buy a 24 pack for yourself.
Uh,
Don't there's gonna be some spots around WonderCon anyway, or the convention center anyway that has a lot of food. It's gonna be pricier because that's what happens majority of the time.
yeah,
Convention centers and places around there, they get filled up really, really fast, and so a lot of money gets convention
that's the
prices
other
get
thing
away.
too. For money, a lot of places have switched over, especially after COVID, to digital payment.
Yep.
So come with cash, but don't feel the necessity. That's another thing I would do is on Friday,
Yeah.
don't bring cash.
Mm.
This is my personal
Yeah.
recommendation. It may not make sense to some people, but don't bring cash because if you bring cash, you're more susceptible to spend it because it's right there, it's tangible, you can spend it.
Yep.
But scope the lay of the land and
Yes.
see what is being used for digital payment. I'm almost positive that all of the major like the official Comic Con International WonderCon sales booths are going to take credit cards. If they're taking credit cards, they're
Yeah.
taking digital payment. They're taking
Yeah.
NFC.
Ah,
I'd
Good.
say 99% of the artists on Artist Alley have either some kind of digital payment or they take Venmo,
Yeah.
PayPal, Zelle, uh, Cash App. They take
Oh
that
yeah.
peer to peer. So
Also, to add on to that too, first day don't bring cash, but do bring cash, because one thing that also helps because we live in freaking California. What helps out a lot too is that not under the table type of stuff, like if you want, instead of if a print is like
wink.
$60, right, and you slide your card in, and it's gonna be $65. Well, if you just give them $60 cash, it's $60 cash,
Exactly.
right?
If
And
you're
so,
gonna, for you Sunday shoppers,
yeah,
JR already mentioned it. You want to, if you want to do some deep dish shopping and you want to go flip some long boxes,
yeah,
bring your cash on Sunday.
yeah,
You will get, it'll be freaking Money Hall. Let's make a deal, bro.
yeah,
I got two books. I got two books.
yeah.
First appearance of Sam Wilson as Captain America,
Ooh,
and um, I got basically those two books. I sent it to JR, and JR's like, "How much did you spend on it?" And I was like, I got both of them for 70. I think it was like, no, I think I both got them for like 60, $65 cash.
yeah,
One of the books alone, I think they wanted like, I think combined I would have paid $80 for it. But
yeah,
because I was willing to pay cash and take both, the guy's like,
yeah,
60. He's like, "What do you got?" I'm like, "I got $60 cash. Done. Go."
yeah.
And
And
because he even
all,
asked me, "You saw the price tags?" And you're, "Dude, you paid that much?" And I'm like, "No, I
yeah.
didn't."
And so it's like also another good thing too is that again, we're not trying to get you guys in trouble with your taxes or anything like that, but because of the current regulations with the new thing the government's trying to do now with the tax revenues trying to do now, when you're using the wireless payment, right? It goes more so on a tax profile too, and so man, it just sucks to see that more that the artists that are paying that are already trying to basically put food on their table that's paid way more in taxes now too. So cash helps. Cash does help. Again, don't get into any crazy trouble, guys. Just know that if you have cash on hand and it's sterilized, right? And it's sterilized, it'll go a long way on your Saturdays and Sundays, right? Specifically with those who are trying to not bring as much material back home with them on that Sunday. So take
Yeah,
that as you will, guys. Again, uh, I'm pretty sure we'll be, just doing some live stuff throughout the week about other things we probably didn't think about today, but we'll think about later on the week to say, hey, this isn't the cool
yeah.
thing to have. This isn't the cool thing to have. So yeah, Kevin and I will probably
I
be online,
was
probably separately, probably together. But yeah, but
Yeah, you will see a lot. Take these down, JR, also at JR Comics 42 on
yeah,
Instagram, at Voice of Reason 23. That's all my social medias, but that's also mostly on Instagram. You'll be seeing us on Instagram Live a lot in regards to organizing our collection. So you'll see me a lot this week in this room. You will probably um, see us on Instagram Live probably around the convention center Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
yep,
I'll try to make sure also at PS Comics I Love You. There's the hashtag, but just that it's the same thing for
yeah,
Instagram. We'll be doing some Instagram reels. We are
yeah,
at least I've talked to Atner about it. We
yeah,
may I'm bringing my equipment just in case. We
yeah,
may do an impromptu show on
yeah.
Saturday.
I'll bring my stuff. Yeah, I'll bring my
Um,
stuff.
so it may happen, it may not happen. It depends. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously, I'm there as a family man, but if we get a couple beers in us and decide to shoot the shit
it's gonna be a good time.
and tell
It's gonna
some
be a good
really
time.
bad puns until 1 o'clock in the morning, like we
Yeah,
did in 2019, that was oh
that was
my
fun.
gosh, oh my gosh.
That was
If I
fun.
could, if I had, I wish
That was
I had
fun.
all those audio that audio from
Uh,
2019. Um, full
I mean,
disclosure,
well,
Atner
yeah,
loves puns and loves
that's right.
bad puns.
Yeah.
His girlfriend cannot. It's nails on a chalkboard. Atner
Oh
was
yeah.
essentially live streaming from his hotel room into a group chat that involved everyone that was at WonderCon that year. Myself, um, Candace,
Mm.
you,
Yep.
Atner and Sarah. It may have
Chicken
involved
Devel.
Cintas. It may have had Chicken Javel.
Yeah.
It it was the usual crowd of people that had been going to the conventions that year.
Yeah.
We were dying. I'm in this hotel room with my wife and my kids, and I'm trying not to wake them up. I'm laughing inside
We
so hard.
we
Oh,
we might too. I would one second. Excuse me. We might have also I would love to have an interview with Chicken Javel. or maybe just Javelle too. If Chick wants to probably go sleep, right? During Comic Con, or during WonderCon, if they're going, right? I don't know if
They are
that's
not
their.
going. I did talk to Chick
They're going.
today. They are not going.
All right, cool. We'll have
They are
conversations
kind of
probably.
scaling back their con schedule.
Yeah.
I think they'll be going to San Diego. I'm not 100% sure,
Mhm.
but I know that they really enjoy going to more of the fringe
Smaller,
ones.
amazing
I know that
con.
she'd love to go to. I think she wants to go to Seattle, but she loves going to Maui Con. She loves going
Yep.
to Amazing Con in Vegas, which unfortunately we're gonna miss this year because it's the same weekend as Stagecoach. So
Just let me know, like, hey, man, I want to go back to Seattle and actually enjoy it. So I'm definitely gonna be there next year, hopefully with
yeah, I
both of
think
my feet.
we may go to. It may not be next year, but in the next couple of years, we're definitely going to go to Emerald City because we have family that
Oh,
lives in Seattle. So
it's beautiful.
we'll play it by ear. But again, guys, the most important thing is hit up our Instagram accounts. There will be a lot of Instagram lives this week, just because it's so easy. And let us know in the comment section below if you're going to WonderCon. Let us know what you're looking forward to. Hit us up, tweet at us, send us an Instagram. Let us know who you're interested in seeing, any tips that you may have for the other audience. We may, like I said, Jeremy said, we may pop in on Wednesday or Thursday to give any kind of last minute news and notes. And you know what? I don't usually, well, we do this actually to give a little side promotion. If you need a little extra help with specific WonderCon schedule information,
Yeah,
there's a podcast that you can find on both on YouTube and on your own podcast called it's called SD Concast, I think is what it's
right.
called.
Yeah,
It is the unofficial official blog of the San Diego Comic Con. I think that's what it is. I usually listen to their pre and post WonderCon and their pre and post San Diego Con
mm,
because I want to see when they shit on line management. But yeah, so check them out. They might have some more very specific instructions. We're going to give you kind of that fanboy kind of look at
hmm.
things. But yeah, all right, my guy. I know that you are on a good one right now,
Bro,
hopped
bro,
up on pain meds.
I can't feel my foot, and I feel that's the best I felt in the last couple of days, man. I was able to sleep last night because how much the pain was in my foot. I feel amazing right now, bro.
Well, I
I
feel
got a
great today. I had a massage this
good,
afternoon,
good, bro.
so I feel great. But
I hope.
I've got a new cooler over here that might be coming with me to WonderCon, full of some
Let's
goodies.
go. I hope y'all out there, man. Thank you very much for just continuing to support us and listen to us ramble on and off about just the random
Hell yeah.
stuff of comics, of possibly politics, of possibly pop culture stuff, man. Thank you very much for supporting us, guys. I'm pretty sure I'm kind of just I'm pretty sure I'm kind of rambling right now because I'm still on pain meds. But hey, man,
Oh, I forgot, dude. I got
being
fucking.
pain free is a great thing to have. Enjoy your youth while you can, because when you get older, everything hurts. But yeah, man.
I wish Josh Middleton would be there.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, dude. If Josh Middleton was there, I would have so much. I will bring my Knicks 3 with me and have him sign it and send that to freaking CGC, bro. Knicks 3, of course, is the first appearance of Laura Kinney, aka X-23. Good God, yes, that'd be awesome. But other than that, guys,
This is the reprint, right?
no, that's just, I think that's X, her solo series, isn't it? Number one.
This is the new one, though, right?
That's old. That's old. That's
Well,
like
I don't know how
that's
that
like
ended up in my pull list.
That's like no. I think what happened is that unless they did unless they did a reprint of it, right?
That's what I'm thinking. But it doesn't
I'm
look
pretty sure that's
like.
old one.
I'll have to
What,
do a little
so
research on that one.
well, what for our audio listeners, what happened was that Kev showed up. I guess his current pull list with an old cover of X-23, which I think that one came out like 2011, my guy, or actually maybe even earlier than that. With her
Hey,
first
by the
solo
way,
run.
shout out to this series, Killcella. This is actually a good book. It's a
Yeah.
good book.
I gotta go back and
Um,
like possibly re up my pull list again, man. But yeah, other than that, guys, we will
got some David
definitely
Mack for this weekend. Got some
we will
David Chewing.
definitely
Ooh, got more
see
David
you
Mack.
guys. We'll definitely see you guys sometime on this week. My boy here is really just pulling up some David Mack goodies He's gonna probably show
Oh,
that
this
off
is my
his,
pull
off
list from
his
this
thing.
week. So,
Off the week. But yeah, guys.
So-
Yeah.
all right, dude.
We've been going an hour and 30 now, but we are definitely going to see you again sometime this week, guys. Again, once again, I am Jared Kamakun, aka also not Jared Comics 42. So my guy right here, my co-host with the most is the one and only
Kevin Pillow at Voice of Reason 23 on all social media platforms. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram this week, including at PS Comics I Love You. Send us a shout out, hashtag PS Comics I Love You. We will, if we don't hear from you between now and then, have a great week. We will see you at WonderCon if you're going. If not, look for our recap the following Monday where we break it down. And also check out on YouTube right now, Mandalorian Season 3, Episodes 1 through 3 recap is online on YouTube and on Facebook Watch. I will have the audio up sometime this week. So, yeah. All right, guys, have a great night, and we will see you.
Yeah. Also, Staniola, she was an awesome singer. So putting on the background here.
Before we get copyrighted.